It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. The conception of the Virat Roop or Vishwaroop of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. To him, a form means something of this material world. Therefore, an opposite conception of the Absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends his potency in the form of the Mahat Tattva, which includes all material ingredients. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord himself personally are one in one sense, but at the same time the Mahat Tattva is different from the Lord. Therefore, the potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different. The conception of the Virat Roop, especially for the impersonalist, is thus non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. This eternal form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of the Mahat Tattva, and it is stressed here that the eternal form of the Lord is par excellence spiritual or transcendental to the modes of material nature. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by his internal potency, and the formation of his multifarious manifestations of incarnations is always of the same transcendental quality without any touch of the Mahat Tattva. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaura Vani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivatsani Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Yasya Vayava Samsthane Kalpito Loka Vistaraha Tadvai Bhagavato Rupam Vishuddham Sattvam Urjitam. Translation again. It's believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. Still on chapter 3, beginning where Krishna Sudha Goswami explains all the different avatars, principal avatars. So beginning before that, they're talking about the creation and how the first avatar came, the Purusha avatars. In the subject of God, when we discuss about God, there are different conceptions of people around the world. What does it depend on? It depends on consciousness. Consciousness is, you can say, how the soul is perceiving and seeing this world and is able to grasp what is going on. For example, if I am sleeping, I'm not conscious. If I'm awake, I'm conscious. If I'm in semi-sleep, I'm not fully conscious. I'll not know what's happening. I can't understand. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is, we say, abhijna. This is cognizant. He's aware of everything. We are not aware of every single thing. But still there are jivas who are more highly conscious of what's going on in this world. And generally speaking, one who is in sattva gun, he has a better understanding of what's happening. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam. Actually, only in sattva gun can one actually get knowledge of what's happening. He knows what's what. So same, now when you come to topic of God, realization of God depends on the person's consciousness. Therefore, they will gravitate or be inclined to certain religion or certain practice or religious practice, depending on their consciousness. So we have, for example, different religious systems. In some of them, they think God, He's in control, but there's also another personality, a devil, an evil person. He's also in control. They're both always fighting. Who'll be in control? Some people think like that. that is good that they have a realization of God, but how can God be fighting with someone to take over something? And he's not so great then. Others have idea that God is there, we cannot know him. We cannot know God. This is, in English that's a word, agnostic. But now others, we have other religious systems where they say God, whatever he reveals, we'll read, but we cannot know him. Is he personal or impersonal? We don't know. We cannot know. That's what they say. God is not so powerful that he can give knowledge of himself. Why not? In a second he can do that. So, other realizations of God is that there is no one God, but there are many personalities, great personalities, who are in charge of different agents in nature, pantheists. And we'll worship all of them at once. Because if we worship him, then we don't worship them, then we'll not get rain. We'll worship him, and don't forget the river God, otherwise he'll flood and drown us. In like this, that idea, pantheists, worship of nature or demigod or empowered personalities within. That's a lower understanding, because no, God is supremely in charge of every other personality who is in charge of anything else. The pantheistic. Okay, others worship energy. They're so enamored by this material nature that they worship the material nature. Shaktas. Worship Shakti. Its creation is amazing. Actually, this material world is amazing. Yes, but who created it? We want to know that. Who was the person who created if this is so great, who's the root? And Bhagavad Gita affirms this. It says, Yad yad vibhutimat sattvam Srimad urjitam eva va tad eva vagachatvam amatejam sasambhava. Krishna says, whatever you see in this material world, which is beautiful, opulent or glorious, yad yad vibhutimat sattvam Srimad urjitam. Whatever is, you see it's beautiful, great, amazing. Krishna is saying, which means it is there. Yes, this material world, there are great creations, yes. But then Krishna says, it's just a particle of my beauty, strength, opulence. So some people get enamored by this creation, then they want to just, that's all, that's their realization. Oh, that is good in one way. It is good because they're coming to some point, admitting some great personality. But didn't come to the personality yet. We're looking at his energy, Shakti. So they'll worship the Shakti. They're called Shaktas. Okay, among them are scientists. Of course, within the Vedic tradition, we have also Shaktas. But scientists are so amazed by the creation. They're studying it and seeing how it works, glorifying it. Okay, but again, how did it come? Who's Shakti? Who brought it? Who created? We want to know that. That's intelligent. So this is different levels of consciousness. Accordingly, people worship. So now these personalities who are not able to see beyond this material creation, they are just worshipping the matter, their conception of God in matter. For such people, they cannot conceive of the spiritual energy, spirit, and so they worship nature. For that, this verse is speaking about the Virat Purusha, not the verse, the purport. Virat Purush, its conception of God. In the Vedas it's explained. We can conceive of God whose body is this universal creation. His head is the Satya Loka, higher planets. Lower planets are his lower part of the body. The hair on his body is the trees. The veins are the rivers. And eyes are the sun and the moon. And like that it goes on. So for those who can't conceive of God in a spiritual sense, then the Virat Rup, Virat Purusha, that is worship. But then, even in Virat Purusha is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, there it's mentioned, in Prabhupada mentions the purport. Here also, that's not a spiritual, eternal form. Actually, God is, there's a word here, Sattvam, Vishuddham Sattvam urjitam. Purely, completely, sattvam. Sattvam here means existence. Urjitam means very high excellence. Here it taken to mean pure spirit. Vishuddham satam urjitam. His existence is purely on the spiritual plane. And English translation is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. So the Supreme is on that level. But those who conceive of the Virat Roop, they're seeing him as material. Okay, for those who cannot understand what is spirit, meditate on that form. But then Bhagavad Gita is establishing Bhagavatam from beginning, who is God and what is his nature. So then it's explaining from beginning that we are speaking out a spiritual personality. This should be understood. And therefore it says here, the universal planetary systems are situated in the body of the Purusha. Now you conceive of this whole material creation is in the body of the Purusha, in Krishna. But he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. God has nothing to do with the material. In fact, that is known as bhinna me prakritir ashtada in Bhagavad Gita. That is my separated energy. It is energy of Krishna, yes it is, but it's not directly under him. He has delegated it separately. Just like we say government is in charge of this country. Yes, he's in charge. Prime Minister, yes, he's overseeing Parliament, he's overseeing the jail, not directly, he put someone under there to take charge, to be in charge. So the material world is put under Durga Devi. His material energy, she's managing everything. And Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't touch matter. He has nothing to do with the material ingredient because his existence is Vishuddham, Sattvam, Urjitam, purely on spirit. In the Vedas, what is the definition of atheist? Atheist or Gnostic, it's not only doesn't accept God, but doesn't accept soul. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the Buddhists are also atheists. Forgot that Bengali word. Bodham. Anyway, so there, we see Buddhism as a religion. Some people say, I'm attracted to Buddhism, I want to become a Buddhist. Okay, but strictly speaking, it's not a religion because there is no concept of God. For them, perfection means dissolve, disappear. That's merge into a void. Void means nothing is there. You also become nothing. There is nothing, nothing is nothing. As Prabhupada said, but they're so expert at enjoying that nothing. So Buddhists are actually atheists because they don't accept God. Okay, some accept God, but they don't accept soul. Actually, Gnostic is those who don't accept soul also. That's also there. Both are there. Gnostic. So, not accepting soul and God means not understanding or accepting a spiritual energy. Just what we see. It's materialistic, lower form of religious system. So, those who are on a lower civilization or a conscious level, they'll only be seeing the matter. But one has to understand about the Chinmay Vastu, the spiritual energy of God. If you accept the spiritual energy, then you can begin to accept that God is inconceivable. Achintya Shakti of God, that people question, you say something about God, but God came and descended in this world. How can he do that? How can God come here? How can? We didn't understand who's God. He can do anything. Why are you saying how can? But if we don't understand the spiritual energy, we can't understand how God can do anything. Like example, manifest an ocean of water. Where did the water come from? Scientists are studying. Water, how did that water come? Water came a combination of oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, very good. Where did the oxygen and hydrogen come from? That came from some gases which condensed. Okay, how did that happen? Oh, there was a bang. How did the bang happen? We are still trying to find out, somehow or other. So what was the root cause of the creation? Still, we cannot know it. But you can know if you accept Achintya Shakti. Achintya Shakti means inconceivable power of God. that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He can do everything, control everything, and we'll not even see Him. Where is He? You cannot see. Where is He? He's pervading everything, but I can't see. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. By my unmanifested form, I'm pervading everything. Matsthani sarvabhutani, and everything is in me. Na teshu chaham vastita, but I'm not there. Everything is in God, he says, and He's pervading everything, but we cannot see Him, and He's not there. He says, I'm not there. How is this possible? Achintya Shakti. Supreme Personality of Godhead has inconceivable energies. Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam. Lord Brahma praised when he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead that Yam Shyama Sundaram, the topmost form of God. Well, this is coming very advanced in the topic we are discussing, but just to mention that he explains there, Achintya Guna Swarupam. Supreme has Achintya Guna, inconceivable qualities that you cannot understand. So don't try to force your mind to understand. Rather, you worship God, then He'll give you the intelligence. But those who worship Shakti, that's okay, this is what we can see. This is what we can understand. So this is what it is. They don't understand that there's something beyond that. So their understanding and worship is everything they see only. That is Virat Rup. We see the material energy and then we accept. But par excellence, the Urjitam, spiritual, supreme personality of Godhead, matter cannot touch Him. So that deep understanding comes with higher consciousness. How to get higher consciousness? Consciousness is raised when we do bhakti, when we worship God generally, but also when you associate with those who are of that mind and you are subservient to them, or you worship them or serve them, then we also advance in knowledge. So a higher conception of, here in Bhagavatam is now taking us to the higher understanding that yes, there's a material creation. The material creation came out of Krishna. When He glanced, sa ekshata, Shruti explains, Supreme Personality of God glanced at His material energy, at Durga Devi. She manifested the Mahat Tattva. The Mahat Tattva is the ingredients for the creation of this whole material world. Everything came from that Mahat Tattva. But Narayana Paro Avyakta, that Mahat Tattva is known as the unmanifested form of the nature, which later manifests and forms the material creation. But Narayan Para Avyakta, Narayan is beyond that. The material creation, the material ingredients that were produced, that has nothing to do with God in one sense. It's mentioned. He's not at all, it's the extension of the power of the Lord. But at the same time, the Mahat Tattva is different from the Lord. Yes, Krishna manifested it, but it's not part of it. So, God is beyond matter. Whatever we see, everything is from the Mahat Tattva, but God is beyond this. He's not at all on this level. He's beyond that. Try to understand. Achintya or Urjita means it's transcendental to this material creation. He'll create everything, but He's not part of it. It's high understanding of God. And this is mentioned in many prayers of personalities who saw the Supreme Personality of God and understood, oh, He's supreme, material energy is lower. Like Vyasadeva, when he was meditating to get the inspiration to write Srimad Bhagavatam after he received Shiksha from Narad Muni. Then Bhakti Yogena Manasi, he closed his eyes in devotion with a one-pointed devotional conscious. Bhakti Yogena Manasi Sangya Pranihito Male, completely free from any material conception, without any desire of material desire to enjoy this world, and just fully devoted to the Supreme Lord, then you're able to see God. Bhakti Yogena Manasi Sangya Pranito Male Apashatam Purusham Purnam. Then he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayam Chatad Apashrayam. He also saw Maya, but Maya was subservient to the Lord. Mayam Tad Apashrayam means She was subservient and dependent and taken shelter of the Lord. Mayam chatad apashrayam. So he saw that. And Brahma, Lord Brahma, in his meditation, he appeared. When he appeared, because the first created being, so we appeared now, when we appeared, we were born, but already the Vedas are there, the knowledge is there, so we inquire. Brahma inquired, who will tell him, who will teach him, because he appeared, first created being. So then from within his heart, Krishna could understand everything, that he's bewildered, what to do, who am I, what am I meant to do? So then Krishna, that word came, tapa, do tapasya, penance, to understand the purpose, your purpose, what is the purpose of your existence, what is your origin, everything. So he did that, and then he saw Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he saw, then he offered some prayers known as Brahma Samhita, which is the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam in 50 verses, 52. How many verses? Brahma Samhita? 55. So, of course, Brahma Samhita, we only have chapter 5, which has some 50 verses of that total. So, then among those prayers, he said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yes, he's spiritual. How do we see him? How are we going to see him? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Anjan means ointment. Premanjana. The Supreme Personality, Supreme Personality of Godhead can be seen through love. When one is developed love of God, then Krishna, then he's spiritualized, then he's able to see God, perceive him, and interact with him. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. When his eyes are devotional, and then it implies that he has some vision which is able to see, which is like putting if someone has a cataract, they put some cream, something which removes the cataract. So that block we have can be removed by bhakti, and then we learn Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokanti. The santas, the devotees, are able to see God in this way, through devotion, with eyes tinged with salvi of love, and in their hearts they can see him. Then Lord Brahma prays, Yam Shyama Sundaram. Who is that Supreme? Shyam Sundar, Krishna. But Krishna, again, Krishna is manifested differently, his mood, and in Dwarka and in Mathura. But Shyama Sundar is Krishna in Vrindavan. Yam Shyama Sundaram, he's called Shyam, he's different names. But Shyam Sundar is mostly, when we say, it doesn't denote Krishna in Mathura or Dwarka. It denotes Krishna in Vrindavan. Shyamam Tribanga Lalita Niyata Pakarsha. Many verses like this. Shyama means that he's the color of a rain cloud. When it's a cloud comes which is full of water, that it's going to, you can look at it, understand it's going to rain. This is not a cloud just for show like summer. So that will be, the color will be that grayish, ghanashyam, it will be grayish, dark bluish. So that's the color of Krishna. So no, Shyamam, Shyama Sundaram, that beautiful form tinged with the color of that rain cloud. Shyamam, Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam. So Lord Brahma prays that Supreme is Shyama Sundar, who has inconceivable qualities, Achintya Guna Swarupam. Because now Lord Brahma has realized, and he's going to explain, he'll describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But some things you can't explain, you cannot. Achintya Guna, how will you explain some things about God? Some we have to realize ourselves. With our tiny intelligence, whatever God reveals, actually if Krishna wants, he can even explain and everything about himself. He'll give us even the Shakti. But generally speaking, it is beyond us to understand God fully. We understand what we can, to the extent he makes us. So in the topmost understanding of God is what Lord Brahma saw, and he offered these prayers. And he said clearly, Achintya Guna Swarupam, that I'm explaining about God, but Achintya Guna, there's some points about him you will not understand, I will not be able to communicate fully. Achintya Guna Swarupam. But not everyone is on that level to understand. And so whatever the level is, Krishna reveals himself according to that. According to your level of surrender. Where does Krishna say that in Gita? Yatamam prapadyanti. According to those who surrender, that much I reveal myself and my glories. So it's in our interest to realize God fully, because by full realization of God only we can go to Him. If we didn't realize God fully, we cannot. And as we know that Krishna has many forms, as we're going to see now, Krishna has many forms. So to the extent that we surrender to a particular form of God, we come to that level. For example, we have different religious systems in this world, but a lot of them are sort of on a mundane level because the people aren't ready. The Vedas has highest conception of God, but within the Vedas also a very small part of it. Because majority of people in this world, they came for material sense gratification. So slowly that knowledge is revealed to them. So a proper understanding of the Supreme is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore it's known as Srimad Bhagavatam, beautiful science of God, a beautiful exposition of God, presentation, everything about Him. And now in this verse it's saying that He is spirit, different from matter. Matter is coming under different energy and different personality, Durga. Spirit is different, completely different. The Jnanis, they are on a path to understand God. We can say in a perverted sense, scientists are Jnanis, because they are seeking knowledge, but not properly. Then you have Jnani in the Vedas. So Jnanis who practice Jnana Yoga, they study the Vedas with the aim to detach from matter and to develop the realization that I'm not matter. So that's also good because they're above so many people. When we say Manushyanam Sasveshu Kasyad Yatati Siddhaye, that first sentence is pertaining to the Jnanis who want to come beyond this existence and not on this cycle of trying to enjoy this material world. They don't want to get trapped. They want to come above this. Then when people get very frustrated with this material world and the suffering, and we have this bhoga tyaga cycle. They try to enjoy, then they get fed up, then they reject it. Then again try to enjoy, then it becomes tasteless. So again they reject. But finally, then the Jnanis, they want to, people who get some realization, and this is what they mean, Manushyanam Sasreshu. Some people think that, okay, we should rise above this matter, because we are perceiving this matter is something which is not enjoyable. So, but they don't have full knowledge of God. So what they do is, Jnanis, they just try to come free from matter, and they can do that through their process. They practice Jnana. They cultivate knowledge and they meditate on the knowledge that I am not part of this material world. I am spirit. Very good. They came to the platform of spirit. Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit. Still they didn't understand about God. But they came on this platform. That's good. But don't stop there. That's why they stop. But the bhakta, within bhakti is jnana, because when we do bhakti, automatically that jnana comes. Krishna gives it. We don't search through all the Vedas and read Vedanta. But if we study these shastras and develop devotional service, these shastras evoke bhakti. At the same time we chant Hare Krishna and follow our principles, then Krishna from within gives the knowledge. He gives the knowledge that we need. Therefore, strictly speaking, we don't have to read a devotee. Krishna can manifest everything in our heart. But by reading, we hear glories of God and that evokes bhakti. that's mentioned, that when we hear glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in association of devotees, bhakti is evoked. Satam prasanga mama virya sangvido bhavanti hit karna rasayana katha tajoshanat api apavarka vartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. When we are seated like this, discussing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and if we are awake and hearing, then we hear, and by hearing, if we hear alone, just try to notice this, we'll hear Prabhupada lecture. Sit and listen alone, or sit and listen in association of devotees. It's different, it has a different effect. We're all sitting together, hearing. So what happens? Satam prasangam. Satam means the sattva, the sadhus, devotees. So in the association of devotees, satam prasangam, mama virya, Krishna says, hearing about me, mama virya sangvido. Then, for one thing, he says the nature of that hearing is that rasayana katha. Mama virya sangvido bhavanti hit karna rasayana katha. That it's like a nectar that is coming through the ear. We are familiar with having nectar through the mouth, some very tasty thing. We have that. But this is that it's rasayana katha, but coming from the ear. Hit karna. For the heart, it's so pleasing, and the ear. Rasayana katha. And what does it do? Tajoshanat api apavartva vartmani. Apavarga vartmani. It shows us the path of liberation. We may not understand everything we're hearing, but just by sitting, hearing, it enters our ear, purifies. We may not fully conceive, but just by sitting and hearing and try to understand, it's not that we. So, Tajoshanat api apavarga vartmani. The path of liberation is opened, and Shraddha, gradually we develop faith. We may not be having faith in God. Otherwise, how will we do bhakti and surrender and give up? We come on the path. We have to give up, but we will not do that unless we have some realization of God. But by hearing, we directly perceive God, Krishna. Then we are able to develop faith. Yes, this personality is there. I can perceive Him. I am not seeing Him, but I perceive God. So we are able to give up. So Shraddha increases. Then Rati, attraction, love of God increases. Shraddha, Rati, Bhaktir, then Bhakti, devotional service. Anukramishati, one by one these steps come. So by hearing. And so the Jnanis, they came to a level, they understood that I am soul, I am not matter, I am spirit. But then they're thinking, I am spirit, everything is spirit actually, that is correct also. And that spirit is pervading everything, Brahman, correct. And I'm part of that spirit. Yes, you are, but you're not equal to the source of that spirit. We are part of this energy of Krishna, but we're individuals. They don't get that, so they cannot do bhakti. For bhakti, you have to understand, I am not part of this matter. I am an individual who is eternal servant of God. I maintain my individuality. So Jnanis come to a level, they're above the people who just worship energy. They come above and say, yes, that's material energy is there, but there's a spirit. But above Jnana, there is bhakti. Above this Jnana system. So one has to come on that level, but you cannot fully know God and understand His greatness unless Krishna Himself gives you that. But He'll not give that knowledge to anyone unless that person comes to Him. So finally we depend on the mercy of devotee. How to break this cycle? I'm here. I want to know God. How will you know God? We have to come to devotees. Because through devotees, when they desire and give you knowledge, even unknowingly, just by favoring you, then you get the knowledge. Then we'll break the cycle of trying to know that who is God, and am I God, am I this energy, or am I supposed to serve God? So that will be very clear. We'll realize there is a God and I'm His servant. So in the verse explaining about this Purusha, that in the beginning, the form of God is the Purusha. Everything is the material ingredients are produced by the Purusha. But that matter produced is not Him. He is not matter. He produced it. And we may be shocked. How is that? Well, I am a soul. Personally, you are a soul. But we are producing so many chemicals in our body. How is that? It's possible. We are producing. Spirit is powerful. It can produce all this. So super spirit will produce all the matter of this material world. So the Purusha that is appearing is not part of the material creation. Rather, he gives the ingredients, but he is separated from it. This is explained in this verse. It's believed that the universal planetary systems are situated in the body of the Purusha. But he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His situation is beyond that. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by his internal potency, and it existed before this material creation. When the material creation winds up, it will also exist. Even beyond that. That is higher realization, which one has to attain. Hare Krishna. Question, yes?
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, you see, Vedas saw Krishna, he also saw Maya. So, how to understand the fact that where there is Krishna, there cannot be Maya? In this context, he saw Maya as subordinate, but then how can in one vision both of them even exist together? How to understand?
He saw, it said Mayam tad apashrayam. Everyone is under Krishna. Everyone is taken shelter of Krishna. It doesn't say he only saw that, he might have seen many things, but significantly, he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he saw Mayam Chadapashrayam, that Maya was subservient to him, to that Supreme. You can see like Krishna saw everything in Virat Roop. But that form of Maya cannot come before Krishna. Personally, she is always behind. But why can't we see? We can see.
Also, another thought that we say that the soul is producing so many chemicals.
Yeah.
So, isn't it that we are changing chemicals because only creator is Krishna? So, or is it that we also can have some creative power in that sense?
Yeah, we are growing.
Is it transformative power?
We are growing, okay, and if you, even what to speak of us, yogis, they produce things. Prapti Siddhi means you can get anything from everywhere, and they can create planets.
They are creating from things that already exist.
Yeah. So matter is existing eternally, but this Mahatattva, all the ingredients of matter are present. We're not making matter. But we are producing saliva, digestive juices, tears, everything is produced. In the body is produced. But the totality of matter comes from Krishna. We can't create that. It's already mentioned, that was created at the beginning of creation. Even totality of senses exists, from which we all got some part. When we see the 24 ingredients of creation, Panchindriya, Karmendriya, Jnanendriya, then the mind, senses, mind, intelligence, ahankar, everything adds up. So that totality is there. So even you say someone makes a planet, someone produces anything, they're producing from it, definitely.
I had a question like Bhagavatam is meant for Paramahamsas.
Yeah.
Then why does this material conception of absolute truth comes in Bhagavatam, which is especially meant for neophytes, as Prabhupada says. So why does it appear in Bhagavatam?
Because we're talking about science of God, and there are different ways of seeing God that we have to understand. Like in Bhagavad Gita, the topic is finally surrender to me, Krishna says. But before that, he explains the concept of karma, even karma kant. Chapter 2, text 31 to 37 is actually some form of karma kant, going to heaven, going to Swarga. He explains all lower systems, then we can understand the higher system and how it's superior. But also, this comes under knowledge of God, that one conception of God is this. But it's right in the beginning. In the second canto, it goes in detail about Virat Roop, because that is a conception of God, but it's a lower conception. But it will cover that also. But no doubt as to what's highest.
So Paramahamsas, are they interested in the highest thing, or they are interested in everything? Because highest thing is like Krishna,
Yes, that's the highest. But
So like Bhagavatam is meant for, it's not meant for elevating, or is it meant for?
it is meant for elevating.
But then how to understand like it's meant for Paramahamsas?
Well, the fact that it's meant for elevating, Yasanubhavam Akhila Shruti Saramekam, Yasanubhavam Akhila Shruti Saramekam, Adhyatma Deepam Atitirshitham Tamo Andham. That Shukadev, he spoke this knowledge. Yeah, for people, Atitirshitham Tamo, for who are dark and Atitirshitham, they're suffering so much, Tamo Andham, and in darkness. He wrote it for them. Samsarinam Karunaiha Purana Guhyam. They're in Samsara. He wrote it for them, which means it will elevate them. Yes, yes. So this is meant for them, that through Bhagavatam, it will pick us up. It will pick us up to the highest level, to understanding, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam.
And it's meant for Paramahamsas?
It's meant for Paramahamsas in the sense that the people who have made a decision that, look, I don't want to be in this material, because people have no interest in Bhagavatam. If your interest is that, Matina Krishna Parato Satoha, Grihavrata, I am going to enjoy this world, this is my vow, whatever, and I have no interest in anything else. So if someone has that idea, then that Bhagavatam is not for them. But when you say it's for Nirmat Sarana, for the highest, that means those who have that interest, that I want to advance, I want to come out of this. I want to come out of this material conception. Those who have that conception, they are Paramahamsas also.
Oh, just like Prabhupada says, he mentions pure devotees in ISKCON, like whenever devotees used to come, they'll call them pure because their intention.
Yeah, that is in a conversation. They ask Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are in your movement? And Prabhupada turned and asked, how many devotees are in the movement?
So
this many thousand, this many whatever. They're pure devotees. They desire to be pure. So this is for these people who want to come out. They decide, I want to, but how to come? Okay, here it's giving the knowledge to understand. But Yukshit Maharaj wanted to come out. It was spoken to him. Any question? Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.